Hi everybody, this is Greg and we're going to be doing another video on an emergency supply kit. What is an emergency supply kit? Basically, emergency supply kit is a kit that you put together that has all the different types of emergency supplies. It could be a trash can, it could be made out of a duffel bag, it could be like a military sea bag, cardboard boxes, plastic totes. I do recommend if you're going to build an emergency supply kit, make sure it's large enough but not heavy because just in case you might have to transport it from point A to point B and you have to carry all that stuff, it could be very, very heavy. So some people might have multiple supply kits and then have individual plastic containers, like say like a tote is your emergency supply kit, and you might have little plastic containers inside that tote and divide it like first aid stuff, tools, pens, paper, you know, things like that that can help with your emergency supply kit. So anything like that, it would be great to have. But again, remember, you might have to travel from point A to point B. So you don't want something that's heavy, large. If you have to separate the kit, that's fine to have, members of your family bring it in. And if it's small, you could even have it in a backpack as well. Some of the supplies, I'm going to just read off some stuff here that you might want to have in your supply kit. And one of the things is this is what a multi-purpose tool is, and this tool would be good to have in your kit, especially if you have like any that you might be in charge not only in your business but your home might be in charge of your utilities. This is a great tool to have to turn off your gas, turn off your water. Definitely, especially if you're going to be leaving the area, like for instance, the hurricane for a long period of time. Another thing you want to have is goggles. Make sure you have a set of goggles for each member of your family. A couple of flashlights. Flashlights, I don't really go crazy over that. Just something that is simple. It could be something like this. I know there's all different types of flashlights out there. Something that's just basic that you can see. I know some people might have like the police type where it really brings in brightness. I have a few of those myself. And but it's just something simple and have a couple of those. I know we rely on cell phones a lot for communication, especially, it's okay if you're going to be communicating with a relative that's long distance or a friend. But if you're separated just for a short distance, maybe put a couple of these radios. Some of these radios, this is one I got from Walmart, just a couple of them, and have several channels, and you could just tell your family members, hey, we're going to communicate on channel 13, 25 or whatever, and these are good. And some of these radios like this one here is good for a good almost 10 miles, so you can have some of that. And here's a list that I generated, and if you could think of anything to add to your emergency kit, that's fine. That's up to you. That's something that you and your family, even your business, especially if you have to shelter in place. And my next video, we're going to be talking about shelter in place. And this is why you got to have an emergency kit, because some of those supplies will come in handy if you do definitely shelter in place. Um, I don't recommend this much. Matches. Matches can be a little bit inconvenient in ways for when I'm talking about fire safety. But if you got to have matches, that's fine, or a lighter. I personally recommend more of a flashlight. I know we use matches for several different things other than candles. You can use candles and put candles in your supply kit, but again, I recommend for fire safety, use flashlights. And now they got these glow, especially, used around the holidays and Halloween, like those glow candles. Those are good too. Um, Again, I know we're in the technological stage now, computers and putting things on the cloud. I'm not saying put your important documents on a cloud, but I like having documents either hard copy, take a photo of them on your phone, or even have a one of those flash drives. Because if the power goes out, you're not going to have cell phone service. You're not going to end up having internet. So if it's something on the cloud, and I cannot stress this enough, it's okay to put something on the cloud. I'm not denying that. I know a lot of emergency managers and personnel will tell you put information on a cloud. I'm not denying that at all. But you also want to have a backup because, like I said, if you can't get to a cell phone tower signal or a power, how you're going to get to your information, your important information. So always have a backup plan by having hard copies with you. Again, take pictures of your documents. That what I'm talking about is like your insurance papers to your business, to your home, your lease, if you rent, um, any kind of insurance, that kind of thing you want to have. Or, like I said, put them in a disk drive because, or a flash drive. That way you just put it into the computer. And a lot of our computers have a battery and you don't need power. And it just takes just a few minutes to pop that up and there you go. So have other alternatives, not just relying on the internet. I cannot stress that enough. Have a whistle. It's great communication. If you get lost, you can have some sort of a signal, or if you need help, if you're trapped. Again, have extra batteries and chargers, to your phone if you do have the electricity. Keep your phones as much powered as possible in case, you are have to go somewhere and the power goes out or even shelter in place. You want to make sure your phone is fully charged. A battery powered radio or a weather radio is good to have. Again, you can't always rely on signals with cell phones. So if you have a battery powered radio, you can hear what's going on, even the weather, National Weather Service. And you can get those from the National Weather Service itself or even the Red Cross sells them. And even, some of your local retailers like Walmart, hardware stores will have one as well. Pet food and supplies, especially if you have pets, make sure you have enough food and water for your pets in your supply. Non-perishable items. I know everybody's like, what does that mean? It means nothing that you have to put in the refrigerator. We see a lot of canned foods. We see box foods like cereals, soups, those you can use for perishable. And if you're like a camper and you love that kind of food, you can go to your local hardware stores, even Walmart, and they got a section for camping, and you can get food that are in plastic bags and stuff. Those are really good to have in your shelter kits because those will last a long time versus some of the cans and everything that might have to, expire. And that's something that I want to um, stress is make sure you have the food for each family member for at least 3 days. And always, always go through your emergency supply kit and just check the expiration dates. You don't want to have, a lot of us make our supply kits and then all of a sudden we just throw them in a corner, throw them in a closet or wherever. At least know where it is. But we always put it somewhere and then we forget to check it. We forget to check our batteries. We forget to check our, food supply and stuff like that. You want to make sure you're looking at that because things do expire and you want to check those every, 3 to 6 months. Have some toiletries, like toilet paper, Kleenex, and paper towels on hand. Bottled water. You can do the gallon waters or get a few if you can put them in your supplies, unless you want to carry them separately. That's up to you. Bottled water and have enough water for a gallon of water per person per day. And again, check those expiration dates. First aid kit and medications. Make sure you have 7 days supply of medications, medical. bandages, ice packs, band-aids, so especially those, gauze pads, even those little alcohol wipes are good as well. And, have make sure you have some aspirin and if you're allergic, Claritin and stuff like that, Benadryl, have that on hand as well. Again, a flashlight, we mentioned that earlier. Make sure you have extra cash on hand. I know we rely a lot now, a lot of people are doing away with cash. We're going to credit cards, debit cards. Make sure you have cash on hand just in case. Those ATM machines, again, credit card machines don't work. It's always good to have those old, what I call 1990, 80, you know, things that we used to do back then, that don't exist now, but still bring that back in because those were good plans back in those days. Multi-tools, like I mentioned this, a wrench, a can opener, extra clothing and blankets. And blankets, you have normal blankets. I would not recommend electrical blankets. You can bring those. I'm not denying that. But again, you have to look for electricity. What if your electricity goes out? And I mean, it's good to have, but that nice warmth. But I would recommend just regular blankets. Sanitation liquids and wipes, especially if you have children and infants, you want to have those. Map of the area. You may not be familiar with the maps, maybe a hard copy map, or again, you can utilize your cell phone, but again, if your cell phone does go out, you're kind of out of luck. Have a compass as well, if you're into the compass stuff. Spare keys, like your home and car, just in case you lose those. Family emergency contact information. Make sure you have that information. And that could go back to your, what I said earlier, hard copy important documents. And make sure you have those. Cell phone with charger. Washcloth and towels. And other toiletries that can be toothbrush, shampoo, soap, and that kind of thing, because you don't know where you're going to end up going. You might end up going to a shelter. You might go to a hotel, go somewhere outside, or even again, shelter in place. These are great things to have. Like I said, you could probably think of another bunch of things that you want to add to the list, and to have these on hand. Another thing you might want to have is hard hats. If you're sitting in a basement and you got a hurricane come in or a tornado come in and you're sheltering yourself in a basement, and you're trying to get away from the winds and stuff like that, have a hard hat because you never know, debris might start flying or falling down. Have that in your kit as well. Now you're going to be like, okay, we're all doing this as part of emergency plans, putting together emergency plans, or just having this in stock. Where would I put this in my emergency plan? This information I just said here, what I would do is type all that information that's in your kit. You can do all the different things, if you're into the graphics and all these different things you can do, like checklists, like check marks, like boxes with check marks. When things are, being checked for expiration dates and stuff like that, you could do that. Um, and I would put this in the back portion of your emergency plan if you want, and this can turn into like what is called an appendix page. In your table of contents, you'll just say down at the bottom appendix, and then put the page number, and then here's a list of my supply kit. Some people I have actually seen will take a picture of what their bag looks like. So people, especially in the business, and be like, "Oh gosh, we have all these bags. What does the emergency supply kit look like?" Put the location in your appendix. Also, a picture would be great if you have a lot of bags and especially, it's like being at the airport, all bags look alike. You can do that as well. Have a picture there. So you could be creative. Again, this would be something for your children to get involved in, setting up the bags, coming up with what to put in the bag and that kind of thing. So this is a great fun thing for kids. So again, this will be a great thing to add to your appendix to the emergency plan. I hope this gives you a better idea what an emergency supply kit is, what to put in it, and where. And another question is, before we end the video, is where do I put this? And that's something that you got to figure out as a business owner, so your business coworkers know, or even your family know where to put this bag. And I put it somewhere where you could just have it handy, ready to pick up and go. Um, you know, put it in your closet, put it somewhere in the basement, but know where it is. And communicate with everybody. So, somebody else says, "Oh, we got to evacuate," or "We need this. Where's that emergency plan or emergency kit?" Point to the person you go get. It's like the AED, go get it, that kind of thing. So know where everything is. And I hope this information will be helpful. I will put more information in the comments like I've been doing the last few videos. Just a brief, again, information what emergency kit is, where to put it, and what kind of items to have in it. And then stay tuned for our next video, and that will be shelter in place. So again, thank you, and I hope these videos are very helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.